Hi there, this is Henry Anderson. I'm the family therapist who visits some of the schools in Spartanburg District 3. And I'm sharing some videos and a little bit of information about some ways to take care of oneself, especially as all of us return to the learning environment as school gets going again in whatever form it starts as and continues to take. So today I thought I would share a quick acronym that for me represents a lot of really important areas of self-care, and then also a brief mindfulness practice that you can try out on your own or just during your daily activities to help feel a little more present, a little more grounded in where you are, and maybe a little less lost in and caught up in thoughts and ruminations. So the acronym is IDEAS, IDEAS, and this is an acronym that for me, as I said, kind of encapsulates a bunch of really important areas of self-care. So the I in IDEAS is intention. So what this reflects is bringing our minds back to the intention to live what I think of as a good life. What a good life kind of means for me is something where I take care of myself inside and out. I feel good about who I am and where I'm going and where I've come from, or how I've made sense of any of those things. And I also have a spirit of love and service toward others and feel supported by them in a reciprocal way. So you don't have to have any of these things to set your intention again and again to develop toward those things. So that's what the I of IDEAS is, resetting the intention to establish and maintain a good life for the sake of yourselves and others around you. The D in IDEAS reminds us the importance of diet or nutrition. So considering what you put into your body and what that does to your mental state is really an important part of self-care. I've read that there are more non-human cells in our gut than there are human cells in our entire body. And so the microbe environment that is a part of our digestive tract is actually a very wildly varied ecosystem of life. And so what we put in our body really influences that. It's a lot like, it's been compared to kind of like a rainforest. And if you introduce foreign material into an environment like that, it has a ripple effect. And that has been shown to be very correlated to things like depression and anxiety and of course physical health too. So that's D, diet. The E in IDEAS, I actually think of two things. So the first is exercise, and that could mean a lot of different things, but at the minimum, a light experience of exercise, maybe 3 times a week or even every day if you can. And light exercise, in my mind, is just anything that elevates your heart rate, and you can kind of play with the amount of time, like, okay, 10 minutes of your heart rate being somewhat elevated is a period of exercise. You might prefer to set yourself at the half-hour mark, for instance. That would be a little bit more in-depth kind of exercise routine, but that'll be up to you. Every body is different, of course, so you'll have to judge what you can handle and what is most appropriate for you. But listen to the body. If after a week or 2 weeks you actually feel more rejuvenated and a little more awake, then you know you're on the right track. If you consistently feel a discomforting kind of pain or exhaustion, then pull back a little bit, do a little lighter. So the other E of IDEAS is exercise, and then there's educate, and what I mean by that is education of the self. So that can be learning new skills, diving into hobbies with more subtlety and more nuance, basically opening a freshness or a newness or novelty into your life. And so that could be even associated with your job, bringing in creative new ideas into the workplace, but maybe more entertaining could be simply finding things that really stimulate interest in you in your daily life, and putting forward more intention to learn about it, to deepen your understanding and your intimacy with some hobby or a skill or set of knowledge. So the A in ideas also stands for two things. First is acts of kindness. Acts of kindness specifically that do not have an associated expectation of reward. So in other words, I'm doing something kind for others without thinking that I'm going to get something out of it. And that's really an important part, as research has shown us, an important part of a healthy and happy life. Doing things for other people, having a spirit of philanthropy or of service. Second, A is what I consider attentional training. So attentional training for me means something like meditation practice or mindfulness practice, or in some other way, some people call it reflective practices, where you actually train your attention to have qualities of openness and acceptance, and also directedness and discernment. So the S of ideas also stands for two things. One is sleep. So sleep is something that we can provide ourselves the ample opportunity to get quality sleep. So that means turning off devices so that we can sleep, and also the quantity of sleep, the amount that we sleep. And now that doesn't just mean the more sleep we get, the better. You'll have to experiment with what that looks like for you, but do experiment with it. Try a 6-hour night of sleep for a few nights in a row, see how you feel. Try, if you can, something like a 9-hour period of sleep, just to see what it's like, and hone it in to where you feel it's just right for you, for your body, and pay attention to your mood as you wake up and go through the next day. So the second S and the last suggested self-care technique or strategy of ideas is social connection. So in this time of COVID, of course, social connections look a lot different, but we can still connect with one another. And connection doesn't have to be face-to-face. It doesn't even have to be live and interactive. So those are what we typically think of as social interaction, but there is what I consider to be something like a simulated social connection. And what that means is we basically bring to mind and fill our minds with pleasant or positive thoughts that reflect our connection or our connectedness to others. That can mean we visualize important people to us in our life and bring their image to mind and think about the good ways in which we're connected with one another. It can also be expanded to include the natural environment around us, or pets in our lives, or even the entirety of human population or human history, and consider, like contemplate the connection that we share with one another in our shared human experience. And so there are many ways we can contact this social connection piece. We can do so live, face-to-face, or in groups. We can do so virtually with the wonderful fortune of technology that we have at our disposal. And we can also do so with simulation, bringing to our, in the movie theater of our mind, really cranking up the reel of important positive connection that we have with others as human beings. So that's the acronym IDEAS, and some ways that I consider really important areas of self-care. So lastly, today, I'd like to share a brief mindfulness practice with you. It's mindfulness of the senses. So we consider ourselves to have 5 senses, right? So we're going to go through touch, smell, taste, sight, and sound in that order. So all that this practice is an attempt to orient our attention toward each area of each of those senses. So focus on one sense at a time, and let all of the other senses and all thoughts about what we're doing or about what we might have done or are going to do later, or memories or whatever else, all thought, just be in the background. And that can be a challenge, and you'll probably have to bring yourself back to the sense that you've chosen one at a time again and again, but that's fine. That's a part of attentional training, like from ideas. So let's go through these 5 senses and simply direct your attention toward each of them one at a time, and do your best to really soak into the detail and the nuance and the subtlety that you notice about it as it's happening right now in real time. So what can be helpful is to sit in a place that's you'll be relatively undisturbed, in a still posture, in an upright posture, and even close your eyes except when we focus on sight. Okay, so you can open them for sight. So if that's something you want to do with me now, go ahead and find yourself in a posture and close your eyes. And first just take a couple of deeper, slower breaths. Just letting your body settle and maybe come to this still point more effortlessly. And as you take another deep breath, you can let your breathing return back to normal and direct your attention to the sense of touch. Doing your best to let everything else, thoughts or other senses, be in the background. Focus on any sensations of the skin that you notice, anywhere in the body. Feelings of temperature, of warmth or coolness, feelings of tingling or tickling, pressures, textures, any changes in sensation. Notice, for instance, where your hands are and what they're touching, where your arms are, where your feet are, your legs, the back against your chair if you're sitting down, clothes against your torso. Just let the sense of touch fill your awareness. Good. Now you can let go of that and turn your attention now to any smells that you might notice right now. Breathing in and out through your nose. You may not notice very much, and that's fine. Just focus on the area of your body where you do notice smells there in the nose. And if you happen to notice any odors, any smells at all, just do your best to focus on them, with everything else being in the background just for now. Let any smells or the space where you smell fill your awareness. Good. Now you can let go of that and turn your attention to the inside of your mouth, where your teeth, your gums, and your tongue and your throat are. Place your attention there and focus on any experience of taste. It doesn't have to be a pleasant taste or even a very distinct one. Whatever you happen to notice in the sense of taste, just really be with it the best you can, letting go of any thought about it, letting all the other senses be in the background. Really contact the sense of taste and let that fill your awareness. Okay, good. Now for this next one, as you let go of the sense of taste, gently open your eyes, either partially or all the way. And for the next few moments, just let the light from around you pour into your eyes. Let your attention be oriented toward the sense of sight. You can let your eyes move around at different distances, different angles if you want, and simply drink in all of the color, the texture, the depth, shading. Just notice all of the detail of what it's like to be seeing right now. Some things are more vivid and clear, some are fuzzier or out of focus, and any of it's fine. Just let the sense of sight fill your awareness. Okay, good. Now you can let go of that and gently close your eyes once more and let your attention be directed to the sounds around you. In the front and back of you, to either side of you, even above you or below you. Notice in any of those 6 directions where you might be noticing sound happening, or where you might be noticing silence too. And without thinking so much about what you're hearing, where it's coming from, what produced the sound, or what it means, just focus on the texture of the sound itself, rising and falling pitch and volume, different timbres or textures of sound. Let the sense of sound fill your awareness. Okay, great. Now as you let go of that, take another couple of deep, slow breaths. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes and continue through the rest of your day.